Mr. Vaid, if we see the timeline and the major Naxal attacks in Chhattisgarh, we cannot say that they don't happen anymore, and you can see them happening year after year, whether it was 2017, 18, you had attacks in 21, 22 as well, and now in 2023. Can we really solve this issue? Is there a lack of effort from the government? What is your sense?
No, I think that is a wrong narrative. The government has done tremendous work on this front. If you recall, a few years back, about 5, 6 states were involved and so many districts were involved. Today it has come down to only 1 or 2, 2 or 3 districts in Chhattisgarh. And to a very large extent, the red terror has been contained. And I think even government is pushing the development part of it, the social part of it on all fronts. I see small setbacks like this do happen, and it's unfortunate. My tribute to those who laid down their life for the nation. But yes, these terrorists will have to register their presence, and we must focus immediately on the rescue and get those who are injured, get them airlifted, treated, and reinforcements should be sent so that this area is cordoned off, and wherever these perpetrators are, they are tracked down. And I think the help of local people should also be taken. And all these, I think the casualties, I'm told, is of the local guards who actually belong to the tribal area. And these are merciless, ruthless Nexalites. They don't even spare. If they suspect anybody providing information to security forces, then they are brutal. They don't spare even their own men, how they hang them and torture them. So I think they deserve no mercy. This red terror needs to be dealt very strongly, but on all fronts. So government has done a tremendous job on this front. A lot of if you recall a few years back.
Mr. Vaid, you made a very pertinent point that these are sons of the soil who've been killed. They belong to the District Reserve Guards, the DRG. Yes. And that's where the ugly pattern of such attacks comes in. Do you see that this is a more sinister design by the Naxals to target particularly these young boys who are actually their own? They're not from other states, but actually from these areas. They're tribal boys. Is there some strong messaging that they're trying to send, that they will be targeted?
See, the message is to send a clear warning to those local boys who are planning to join such force, that you better be aware, don't join. That is the messaging they are trying to scare the local youth. Ultimately, I am sure they will not succeed. This is what we saw in Jammu and Kashmir. These local special police officers we recruited were from local. Ultimately, they did a tremendous job. And today, even in Kashmir, terrorism has been controlled to a large extent. And these local boys play a very critical role. And I think the nation should be proud of their services.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir. These are really tough, brave boys who understand this terrain very well. But, you know, there is a pattern, Mr. Vaid. We don't see Naxal attacks happening very frequently. But whenever they do take place, the casualties are high, and it's once again an ugly reminder that Naxalism hasn't been completely crushed. What's the approach that the government of India and the state government needs to follow in such a situation? We always hear that the number of Naxal hit districts have come down, but there are still pockets which are a complete no-go zone for the civil administration.
Absolutely. Whatever you said is absolute truth, and I think jointly government of India and the state government, that is Chhattisgarh government, must work in tandem in spite of political differences as far as red terror is concerned, and push a lot of development, push a lot of employment, push a lot of social reforms, push a lot of other than the security aspect of it. so that these people are not, they don't feel left out. And these red terror does not get new recruits. That is where our focus should be, that no new recruits join.
There is an official, sorry gentlemen about the interruption.